Hey guys, Jesse here, the Mycophiliac. So today we're going to do some DIY filter lids for liquid culture. They worked well for grain spawn already, so I'm going to give it a shot at running some liquid culture. So the plan is I'm going to hammer 2 nice holes in here and place the bin. I'm going to place the filter patches in here. We're going to do 800 grams of water to 33 grams of honey. Should give us about 4%, 33 1/3 grams. There's that 33 1/3 again. We'll use that to give us about 4% solution of honey water with a full 800 milliliters in each jar. We are going to mass produce some mushrooms for this spring. Do some outdoor fruiting up here in Alaska. We got our raw and unfiltered honey. We'd go organic, but we couldn't even find any at the Walmart. Wasn't willing to travel too far into town. Yeah, so let's get started. You're going to get your mason jars, got a fresh box. Just got those at Walmart too, like 16 bucks, cheaper than Amazon. And and just so you know, I'm not going to, once I get in the kit, inside the grow tent, and then go to inject, then I will place a dab of this on top of the injection port. So I like to think that the slick side of this, which should be down facing your culture, right? Because you don't want this to absorb water on the spongy side. So there are slick sides and spongy sides. Fungi YouTube channel recommended these, so I scooped them up, give them a shot. They're a little tight in there, which is kind of good. I do want that. And it should allow a nice, almost gasket-like effect. So far, I've used 2 of them or 4 of them, and I've had good results. So we'll see how they continue to do on the grain spawn, but I would like to test out 2 of them on liquid cultures, and we're probably going to put some oyster mushrooms in there too, because they're pretty aggressive. Either that or cordyceps. It'll be oysters or cordyceps going in these 2. Then we have the lids we're using for a second run. Got these on Amazon. I forget the knockoff brand, but they performed pretty well. You can see I got the 1 injection port here. This one I did use to mass inoculate some birdseed, which I'll check on later today. And I ran lion's mane in this already. Worked pretty good. So we're going to run a second batch on this lid, second batch on the filter, second batch on everything. Give you a quick tip for any permanent marker you have trouble getting off your lids. You can use a magic eraser and just get it right off. Works good for the aluminum lids too. So if you have any troubles marking your lids, I ran these in the Instant Pot, which I do believe bounces between 13 and 15. That's why we do this for 30 minutes instead of 20 minutes for sterilization. It does have the 0.22 PTFE filters on these, and we'll see how these do on another run. But so far, they're pretty worth the money. They say not to do it with these with the lids tight, or it'll pop these off. But I haven't had any issues. They're on there pretty solidly, and these filters do pop in there, and have no issues with these popping off on that last run. So we're gonna run these for a second run, see how they do. I do put them on all the way, and because I don't like because I found that not tightening it all the way can cause them to rattle loose and pop off inside of there. So I don't do that. I know some people do that, but I don't put jars in there that don't have holes in them, at least some leak. But I found that these have been working well so far in that hood. So we're going to take our handy dandy screwdriver, our really old hammer, and we're going to put 2 nice little holes in these lids. 1, 2, and then the same thing, line it up. Go a little bit parallel, a little uniform. 1, 2. And the reason I'm doing that is because one's going to be for injection port and one's going to be so I can breathe and get air in there. So go ahead and put our filter disc with the fuzzy side in the lid, so that way the hard, slicker side stays in the bottom. It does allow air exchange, but it is set up that way specifically for growing for these liquid mediums, and these do say for growing mushrooms. It's got mostly positive reviews on Amazon, and it was like $29 for 50 of them, and several people said they were reusable, so it looks pretty good there. And once I inject them, the first thing I'll do is in the tent. I've already did this with the grain spawn, and I'll just put a dab of this on there right over the hole. I'd like to think that these do a pretty good job of sealing up for the most part on their own, and I'll be in front of the homemade HEPA filter in the positive pressure tent. So go ahead and get this lid ready too. Make sure it's all seated in there. That's good there. Now we'll move on to making our liquid cultures. And we're going to do 800 grams of water to 33 grams of honey. Got our Nate's honey here. Got our Instant Pot. All right, let's tear it out. Let's put that on grams. Unit. All right, zero it out on grams. And we're going to do hot water from the sink. We got decent water up here. Comes out of the, what I believe is, comes out from, what's your friend water over there? Make sure you wash your mason jars. There's always seems to be a little grime in there if you don't wash them. I've tried sterilizing them directly out of there before, and there seems to be a little grime. And you know what? I think we're just going to stick with 600. I think 800 grams is too much. I think we'll stick with 600 grams and 600 grams, and we'll do 20 grams of honey. I'm thinking it might boil. I'm thinking it might be too much for these. It'll probably be fine with these. But all right, we're at 600 grams. Some honey in here. 20 grams. We'll do 600 grams of water, 20 grams of honey. Perfect. Nice. Put our lid on. I think 800 might be a little too much for that. Oh, get your honey stirred up. I try not to leave it junked up like that. I have a magnetic stirrer, but I don't feel like bringing it up here and using it right now. Use that later. All right, nice and stirred up in there. So no real honey resting on the bottom. And not worrying about a magnetic stir bar, so we're not going to be magnetic stirring these. They're going to be for mass inoculations, but you can throw stuff in there to stir it around if you want. I haven't had any issues. I don't plan on leaving these long enough to do that, and I don't have any magnetic stir bars with me today, so I'll be waiting on those. Probably order some more magnetic stir bars if I find the need for them, but I haven't really found the need for them. They're cool. It's 25 bucks for the stir, and I now have it for my master liquid culture. So I got the 4 master liquid culture jars I made yesterday. Y'all saw a video in there as well. And I gotta inoculate those today as well. So I'm gonna have 8 jars by the end of today. By tonight, ready to inoculate. Pending the mail, so I'm waiting on some 1.5 inch 18-gauge syringes to show up too, so I can actually inoculate these. And some of these will be getting inoculated from other liquid culture, right? And this is just a mass produce. So 600 grams here. Keep the rag around to collect any water. 600 to 20 gram ratio. Nice. We're going to put a little in the tea here. Give me some. I like to have some of that. Tea, some black tea here. Just made some of that too. So put the lid on. Slick side down, fuzzy side up. Stir that, get that honey going. Stir it around. Make sure there's none really resting on the bottom. Looks good. Set that one to the side. Go ahead and put this one on there. Just tear it out. Some more hot water. Now, if it's cold water, you won't be able to do that with your honey. And then I found that the honey is going to cook and solidify in there. But you know, if you're mass inoculating, it won't be too big of a deal. But if you are trying to pull it out of a syringe, you're not going to be able to pull all that mycelium out of there. So let that sink in. You know, you don't want to do that. just a regular old food scale right here. Yeah, these are pretty tight. They're on there pretty good. I had no issues. And I think there was enough airflow through here for this. Yeah, we can set these in there. Oh yeah, I gotta wrap aluminum foil on there. Paying attention to the video here. And go ahead and how close we can get. See how close we get to 600 grams right there. Oh, that's pretty close. 593. It's a little too much. Oh. All right, 605. Perfect. A little splish splash. A little splish splash. Beautiful. A little more for me. All right. Oh. And I like to think if you know, these filters start to go out, I could probably put these in here too if these filters don't seem to be doing the job. But I think they look pretty good. So that'll also look good. Alright. Grab some aluminium real quick. Especially these are what I'm really worried about. I'm not going to get any more stuff. And you know, they say if you do leave your lids loose, you can do this for it. Those things. I'm going to put those in there. I'm going to need to add some water too. Add about 600, 800 milliliters of water on there. And to the Instapot. Make sure you add water. Cool thing about the Instapot is it won't even start. It'll be like burned if you don't have enough water in there. It knows. It's all at 800 grams, 800 milliliters of water. More than enough. Rough 4% solution honey water. Get our fancy lid on there. Yeah, I'm really liking Instapot tech so far, so we'll see how it's going to work out throughout the process. See if I can keep contamination down, especially with the positive pressure grow tent. Bang. Put pressure cooker, keep warm. It's already at 30 from doing some doing the other jars, and yeah, I'm going to do some mass inoculations later. I'll have 8 jars in front of the HEPA filter tent ready to go. And there it is. Cheers. That's good.